Welcome back to the Chaotic Little Book Corner. My name's Acacia. Today is a short video, top 5 video. Tomorrow is a long video talking about why I will no longer be shopping with a specific bookstore. So tomorrow, if you don't feel like watching the full video, it's totally fine. I really appreciate those of you who do, and those of you who don't. It's absolutely understandable. I know not everyone has time for longer videos. But today is a shorter video. So today is the top 5 books that have creeped me out. That's how I'm doing this. So I've done the top 5 psychological thrillers, and those are great. But there's really not a whole lot out there that, like, makes me squirm, if that makes sense. These books made me squirm at points. And they made me squirm, not just like in a, ooh, that's a little uncomfortable kind of way, but like in a, oh, that's gross, I don't wanna kind of way. So I really enjoyed all of these books though, despite the squirming. So I'm gonna share them with you. Number 1 is this, and this is The Contrary Tale of the Butterfly Girl by Ishbel B. This is the sequel to the Mirror and Goliath book. I've spoken about it multiple times on my channel. The reason I'm bringing this up is because this one really takes the story from the first book and turns it into a really creepy, weird, magical, dark, twisted, messed up world. And there's a couple moments in here where I cringed and like my skin felt weird. It was different. I had to put it down a few times. The other one I read in like 2 sittings. This one took a lot longer, and it's huge font. The chapters are super simple, but it got me, and it got me so creeped out, but it was so worth it. The next one is The Beauty, and this is by Alia Whiteley. This one I adored. This one I sat down and read in 2 sittings in a day because I had to take a break because I couldn't handle it the whole time. So this one talks about a world, it's a dystopian world where all the women have disappeared and then suddenly they start to come back as funguses. Almost like mushroom-like type creatures, or, yeah, and it, oh yeah, it was weird. It was so weird, and yeah, So the story is told from the perspective of a young boy who is the storyteller. Basically he's the gentleman. He's the storyteller of the group of people who live in this community, and he tells them stories of the women, and he finds the creatures in the woods, and then they end up coming back and starting to interact with the gentleman of the group, and things start to go awry and strange and weird. This is Helen Oyami's White is for Witching. I've mentioned this so many times, you guys. And Helen Oyami is one of my favorite authors. I absolutely love this, but this is the one that really made me the most uncomfortable. And that was usually in reference to the house. The way that the house narrated, because the house is a narrator in this, creeped me out in certain spots because the house sees things that you wouldn't notice and then describes them so darkly and twisted, and oh, it's creepy. It's really creepy. Oh, so creepy. So creepy. White is for Witching is about a young girl. Her name is Miranda. She suffers from pica, which is an eating disorder where you eat there's no benefit to what you're eating, and for her, she eats chalk. She lives in the cliffs of Dover, and it's the story of her twin brother, their disappearing mother, and her life, and how things are affecting her and her brother, and the house is like possessing. It's just, ooh, it's weird. It's weird. I'm like getting chills talking about all of these, so forgive all the squirming. It's like, oh, okay. This one is The Girl with All the Gifts. Now, I have not spoken about this really on my channel. It's by M.R. Carey. I enjoyed it, and there are scenes in this that I can't describe without giving away the plot. It has zombie-like feels and apocalyptic world-esque style stuff. It's really creepy and eerie and there's a couple of scenes where there's a doctor describing some tests being done that just chilled me to the bone, and I don't really want to give too much away of this because I went into it knowing very little, and it cured me of my interest in The Walking Dead. I'll just put it that way. Like, The Walking Dead didn't seem so gory after I read that book at all. The last one is this one, and this I will be doing a more in-depth review on in my wrap-up of this month. I finally found, I got this, finally. This is The Knife Drawer, and it's by Padraic Torrent, and I went into this knowing very little, thinking that it was a short story collection only of, like, fairy tales. This is the story of a house where a family is going mad. And you hear perspectives from inanimate objects that are in rooms where the people are fighting. You hear from the walls as they're being damaged. You hear from mice as they're hearing things. And everyone has this really disturbing, weird way of explaining how their life is happening and how it. So here's a little excerpt. And this is from the perspective of mice. That door will stay shut for 2.5 years. For the moment the mice are relieved, escaped to the carpeted homeland. Their little hearts are pounding terribly. They are tense and fragile as rusted springs. For a few minutes they pant as their fear cools, and they cling to one another as they listen to the scrapes and thudding and muted curses. As the mother barricades the motorway beneath the door, once she catches her hand with a swing of a hammer, and 3 times she laughs out loud, mean as a crow. She catches her hand with the swing of a hammer and then laughs out loud. This book freaked me out, and it was a great freak out. It was creepy. It was beautiful. It was like Grimm's fairy tale. It was more grim. It was more Grimm's fairy tale than it was modern day. It's absolutely fantastic. I loved it, and it... so good, so good, so good, so good. I absolutely love this, and I will definitely be rereading that. I don't know if it's one of my favorites of all time. I think it might be on a second read, but at this point, it's just a favorite for the year. Alright guys, that has been my top 5 creepy, chillingest books that I've read. Yes, tomorrow's a longer video. I will see you then, and I'll talk to you soon.